All right, everybody, what's going on? It's your boy, Greg Williams, aka Hush, here with the MuBetaPhi Military Fraternity Incorporated Black History Celebration. This is our virtual event, and I'm being joined right now by the co-founder of FUBU and a U.S. Navy veteran, J. Alexander Martin, everybody. J. Alexander Martin, the
What's
one and
up?
only from representing Queens.
And Sigmas.
Oh, MuFi, BlueFi.
Blue fly. Blue
Yeah,
four.
there you go. So let's get into it, Jay. Right now, our fraternity, we are doing a virtual Black History Celebration event. You're African American, as everybody can see. First question out the gate to you: what does it mean to be a Black veteran?
Oh man. It's a lot of heritage in that, of course at a time when they didn't really want us in the military, they figured that we couldn't do anything. And then we went in there and really, took care of business as I could say, not to bring up a whole thing about history. But being Black, period, isn't the easiest thing in the world, especially today. And we're always struggling and trying to kind of prove ourselves in respects to a race that feels that they're pretty much superior. And I'm just kind of making it blanket. It's not everyone. It's a small group of them. I guess since today, with a lot of the political strife in the world, they've kind of come out of the woodworks. A lot of them, and felt that they can do that. But you know what? We shall overcome like we always have, and we're going to keep maintaining and keep doing what we're doing and keep working and keep striving and keep inventing and keep working and keep doing it, keep. And that's that. So I have to say about that, because again, if you let that stuff bring you down, you say we can't achieve, you're going to stay in that bubble. Bust out of that bubble and let's just go on, man. I don't even look at it like that.
So let me ask you this question. You served in the Navy and you served during an era where it was a lull and then you went into a conflict.
Yeah.
Um, I want you to talk about basically a little bit of your military history, the conflict you served in, and really how did that evolve your mindset?
Well, I always answer this question by the thing called paying attention to detail that they teach you, military teaches you. And I have taken that and I've just kind of kept that in everything I do. You know, pay the whole thing about paying attention to detail. If you look at it like this, if you don't pay attention and do what you do and do it on the proper level, somebody dies. So if I take that or took that and I just implemented that in my business, if and for every situation, if I don't make the right decision, I lose my business, people can't eat, families can't eat, and ultimately somebody could die. And that's just what I've done. I served during U.S. Okay, so between 1989 and 92, the end of 92, I was in the desert. I was in Desert Storm, Desert Shield, that conflict. It was kind of crazy because coming out of the Hollis, Queens, New York, you're struck right into military conflict, and it's like, whoa, this is real. And for all that time, like you said, there was nothing really going on. So you figure you go in the military, it's just a job. You either get in, you get out, or you stay, you become a lifer. In my respect, I was in the military. I was in an accident. So I got out on a medical discharge. I'm actually 50% disabled through the VA. And I utilized my GI Bill just like everyone else. Went to FIT, and since that has made, and also had some money as well, in which I helped start FUBU, and from an accident when I was in the military, and that's my story.
Now, this is the biggest thing that I want people to take away, more specifically veterans. You were in the military. You had an accident. Life changed for you like within a couple of months, and you had to adapt. A lot of veterans are not able to adapt. what is your piece of advice to those veterans who are at that cusp? You know, life has hit them, whether they want to get out the military voluntary or are involuntary separated. What do you, you know, say to them?
Well, okay, so I'll talk you through it, and I'll talk you how it happened, meaning how the transition happened for me. Well, so you know, you're in the Navy, right? And you're sitting there thinking, okay, wow, this is what I'm going to do. This is what I'm going to do, right? I got away from my, you know, circumstances, and now I'm here. It's a whole new world, and you start to adapt. You know, remember basic training. You know, day one, you're coming in, and everyone's yelling and screaming, "Get over here! Cut your hair! Do all this stuff!" And right, and that for 5 seconds, you're saying you're not in Kansas anymore, right? Reach back to that feeling when you had to say, this is what I'm going to do, and I'm not going to go home. I'm going to learn whatever they teach me. I'm going to adapt to whatever they teach me. And in those, 8 weeks, I believe it's basic training for most people, most service members. I was in the U.S. Navy. That's what you got to reach back for. Because there's so much that people absorb and learn and be and in the military, how to react in a split second, how to take care of your brothers, how to manage. So you're sitting back and you're taking a list of all those things that you were doing. It doesn't leave you when you leave the military. But the problem when people don't adapt is the reason why they don't adapt is because in the military, it gives you a false sense of it's almost like you take it for granted all the things that are there, because you wake up, you got four square meals a day, right? You have room and board for free. You're making money, right? All that is kind of just nurtured. You're nurturing you, and you really don't have to worry about anything. You know what I mean? So now you're out, and now you have to go back into the world in which you were nurtured. So that's where people get the disconnect, because now it's like, well, oh wow, now I'm on my own again. Now I'm someone else, because you just got changed into a military officer or military, enlisted, and now you got to change back, make the metamorphosis back to an actual regular human, and that's the disconnect. So how do I do it? Again, I tapped into all the things that I was taught. I extracted all those things. It's almost like when you're a kid or you're a baby, or you're not even just a baby. I'm saying, let's say you were 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. You get to 18, right? 19, 20. And every time your mother and father told you something, you were like, oh, what do you know? What do you know? But then it gets real when you're out there on your own. And now you're reaching back to those little bit of things that someone said. So that's what people have to do. They have to reach back to those things and go and tap yourself on the shoulder and say, wow, I did that. I did that. I took the chance to go into the military instead of doing whatever I was going to do, right? I served my country. And what did I do in there? I did this, I did this, I did this. Look back to your quals, all the things you did. Look back to PT, look back to your health, look back to all those things to say, hey, I could do this.
Now, what are those things that veterans have to remember when they want to get into business? Because you're a successful entrepreneur, you made millions of dollars, you've built a brand that I dare I say it impacted a whole entire generation, a culture. It shaped us. I remember the LL Cool J posters all over the place. I grew up in Harlem. I remember all of that. What do you say to those veteran entrepreneurs that want to start their own business?
What I say to them is, you're a business. You're a business. Once you understand that you're a business, Everything else is easy.
Mm-hmm.
Think about it. When you were in the military, again, go back to that. You had a hierarchy. You at sometimes you was in command. It's the same thing. If you think of yourself as a business, when you walk out of base and you have money in your hand and you have to do certain things, or you have a family, you are a business. What's best for your business? Take those same things. Like a lot of people think they have to go off and do something spectacular and think so much. No, it's already in you. It's already who you are. It's not that hard.
So you have a lot of veterans that they don't know what they want to do in life. They've lived a certain life for a certain amount of period. I always like to say that the military is kind of like a time machine. It kind of pauses life. And then when you get out, you got to unpause,
Yeah,
whether.
but that's exactly what I was alluding to. That's exactly what I'm saying.
So what are some tips that you would tell veterans when they have to unpause their life and they have to get back into that civilian mindset, and utilize those skills that they've learned? What do you tell them? How do they find their passion? How should they find their passion?
Well, I was a little lucky because I went in for my passion. Well, I went in wanting to work my passion. Let's just say, because I wanted to go in for fashion. Of course, you can't go in for fashion, but they told you, oh, you can go to school. So all through my military career, when I would go in overseas and I was, just meeting individual people from all over, Kansas, uh, you know, um, uh, Georgia, whatever states. I wasn't necessarily just meeting them, I was studying them. So I was studying what people wear, why they wear it, right? Looking at different cultures, listening to different music, listening to, watching people's style. So when I got out, I had all that information in my head. Now it's just a matter of me putting it all together. So secondly, for the people who didn't do that, what I did second was I wound up getting, SAM. So I'm actually be able to sell to the government. So I'm service connected disabled veteran business, and SAM, which is of course where you can and I have a cage code for PPE for PPE. I have a cage code for for fashion, but for clothing, electronics, for real estate. So I have quite a few cage codes that I work and be able to give back or sell or do whatever is when it comes to the military. So if you can't make a transition because you don't know what you do, utilize what you just did. See,
Wow.
it's not that
Mm.
hard. Like
But but
I'm
but
not
Jay,
talking. This is
sometimes
not
veterans don't know. They
not
don't
brain.
know.
But again, it's not brain surgery. And I wrote a
Yeah.
book. I wrote a book with that basic uh, 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 thoughts in mind. It's called Building an Empire. It's not the typical book in which you read and it says it tells you to make an LLC and all that other stuff. It explains you about that stuff, but what it does is put you in the mindset to be an entrepreneur. If you don't have the mindset, you cannot be an entrepreneur because you're not thinking. You're thinking about following, you're seeing what somebody else does and go, oh, well, that's what I want to do. That's not what you want to do. Just because if somebody says hammers are selling, oh my God, now everybody wants to go make hammers. But that's not what you want to do. You don't have any passion in that. Not even just passion. You don't even have desire, because passion is different from desire.
So last question, Jay. Last question. And I think you hit the nail on the head, about the Black veteran experience. You gave some good jewels for Black veteran entrepreneurs. Um, my last question to you is, and I want you to just kind of, walk a veteran through the daily life, the daily struggle of an entrepreneur. What are some of the things that they should expect if they want to get into business and they want to grow their business? What are some of the pitfalls that beginners, they fall into?
Well, anybody in business in the beginning is the fight to just start it. That start. You can't just keep. Most people say, I want to start a business, and they'll start asking everybody, I want to start a business, and they'll start, and they use that to get verification. You don't need that to get verification. What you need to do, and what I suggest people do, is go out there and talk to people, find out about that business, learn about that business, learn why that business won't work. Write all that down. Go to other people that you know are deniers and let them tell you that you can't do it. And then go to other people that can tell you, well, give you reasons and in that field and tell them what the problems are in that business. Do the research, right? Put all that down. And haters, all that word hater and all that, they hating, write all that down, everything they hated on supposedly. Because I don't look at it as hate. I look at it as research, right? And every time you see a problem, at that you call so-called, what you call it, a problem, it's not a problem, it's a solution. So you write the answer and say, this is how I'm going to make that happen. And once you finish that whole exercise, then you start your business. Simple as that.
Wow.
But you have to start.
Yeah.
You can't.
And that's the hardest part for some people.
If the enemy is on this side and you're on this side, they're going to tell you to go forward. They're going to tell you to go backwards.
So let's talk about your book that you. So we're running out of time. We got 2 minutes. Yeah, go ahead.
One more point.
Finish.
Remember, we run to it. You're not tired. Keep running to it. Yeah.
So let's talk about your book that you wrote, and give some finer points on it, and why you feel it's a good read. Just not for veterans, but for people that want to get into business.
I think it's a good read. Building Empire is because it's a book in which, again, the only book I could think of that is close to it is Think and Grow Rich. So today it's the book. It's your modern consultant. Anytime you kind of figure something out, you go back to this book. You put it in your pocket, go back to this book, and you kind of read it and say, what would Jay think? How would Jay to deal with it? And you start getting out of your own way. You start thinking different. Most people think the same because that's what we're all programmed to do as far as social media. Social media gets everyone to think and do the same thing. But in military, you think the same thing because you're programmed to do the same things, but you're programmed to think and react. We don't react anymore. Once you get out of the military, you forget how to act. You forget all the laurels and the things that you were striving for, on the things that you were doing, and things that would never stop you, right? If you're faced between an enemy and yourself, you're gonna do whatever you got to do to survive. It's the same thing in civilian life.
And all right. Yeah. All right. Well, thank you so much, Jay. Everybody, Jay Alexander Martin, co-founder of FUBU, entrepreneur himself. He's got his money into other things too. Where can people go follow you, Jay?
Go to the letter J, AlexanderMartin.com. And if anyone can, go to forusbyus.com and check out our digital network as well.
Yeah, we definitely got to talk. We got to do something for the vets. Got to do something for the vets, Jay. Got to do something for the vets. Yes. All right, everybody, we're going to continue on. It's our Black History Celebration virtual event. I got the kids. I got to throw the kids out because it's COVID. Jay, thank you for bearing with me, and I'll speak to everybody later on.
All right. Thank you. Thanks for having me.